Welcome to the only channel that's got some tots for your teats. So you might be asking, Father Brown, why are you talking about tater tots? Misdirection. You silly fool. You see, I'm talking about a new series on my YouTube channel. I call it Tots, or Thoughts on Things. It's where I'm basically going to be talking about TV shows, movies, all of the above. Stuff I got thoughts on. But I don't have enough material for a YouTube video. Those are some good tots. So, without further ado, let's get into the tots.
Oh no, it's the fuzz!
Hey! Wait, did you? Hey! Get back here! Come here!
Oh no!
Aha!
Put your hands up in the air!
Put your hands up in the air!
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, do you guys see this? That's bothering me.
I'm a murderer!
This I rediscovered on a whim. And I'm so glad I did. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you like that, don't you, little baby boy? I think this little internet series was a pretty huge influence on my sense of humor nowadays, which is pretty evident in the fact that my brother and I both watched this series when we were younger, but when I showed him that I refound it, he didn't have as much of a shocked reaction as I did, and even said it wasn't as nostalgic for him. I also really appreciate this YouTube classic because it is one of the only classic YouTube videos that are actually still watchable. And yes, I am referencing things like Fred and the Annoying Orange.
Wow, your favorite food must be Scream of Wheat.
You look fruity!
Do you honestly think you're fucking funny? Seriously. You're a fucking ugly little cunt, mate.
At least I'm not a vegetable.
Which are just extremely cringy nowadays, Like, you go back and watch those, you will not want to breathe anymore. And I think the reason that the series is so great is that it represents how random humor should be done. What I mean is that many hate shows like Teen Titans Go for using lol random humor, but I don't think that is why the humor doesn't work. I think it is because it thinks that singing about waffles for 5 minutes is funny without any context either. Just starts singing about waffles. Whereas something like Clayworld, I think, really gets how random humor can be funny. The reason I think their random humor works, though, is through the setup and the punchline. Basically the premise for just about any joke. You might be wondering how a random joke can be set up with an actual punchline, and that is probably because many people think that random humor is just saying a bunch of dumb random stuff, and then you are supposed to laugh about how out of left field the thing they said was. I think that the episode entitled Sue is a perfect example of how to set up a random joke. Now, I am not gonna spoil the whole video because it is one of my favorite Clayworld episodes, and I think you should definitely watch it after this. But the gist is that this guy put on the other guy's glasses when he specifically told him not to. So now the other guy comes back with his lawyer to sue him. How the joke is set up is that he comes back with the lawyer and he is just a guy with a tie. And he says he is suing him and asks him to hand over 500 monies. So, we now know that in this very odd world, how suing works is that you just say you're suing someone for X amount of money, and then they hand over X amount of money, right on the spot, no court, judge, or anything. Now, this internal logic of Clayworld is pretty funny to me, since it's just so ridiculous, but how they make it into a really funny joke is by that just being the setup. I also would really quick like to make the difference between this and things like Teen Titans Go very clear. I think what also separates them is that Clay World is an entirely new world completely unlike ours. So this randomness actually kind of fits, because it is based on how this world operates in contrast to ours. Whereas something like TTG is based in the real world, with the only real significant difference being that there are people with super abilities, aka superheroes. It is a cartoony version of the real world, but it is a reflection of reality nonetheless. So if they had an episode where they have all the main girl superheroes breaking several laws, which just as a quick note already doesn't make sense because they are superheroes, which usually are defined by their heroic traits, so it doesn't even work on its own internal logic, it doesn't make any sense. Because by the rules of this reflection, crime is still not only happening, but is still punished by the legal system. So why do the girls superheroes just get away with committing several crimes? Well, the writers decided to make a boys versus girls episode, and they were like, what if we subverted expectations and had the girls have the craziest night ever, while the boys had a pretty normal night? And then they proceeded to clap, shake hands, and shake heads. Yes, this is a real episode, and yes, it is absolutely terrifying for us as a species. Point being, Clay World established an internal logic to their world, while TTG has no logic. And that is why TTG doesn't work, and Clay World does. A more popular example of this is Adventure Time. There are so many random jokes in this series, but what makes them work is that the land of Ooh is so far removed from our world, or any other fictional world, that when a random joke happens, it works, because we can assume it has some logic to it. Which is actually true, as this world, if you really look into it, has a deep and expansive lore behind it. So yeah, this is what I think is a pretty interesting misconception, as many usually write off random humor as bad, but it can be really good if put into the right hands. Point being, go watch Clay World. It's a ton of fun. It's a YouTube classic series that is not extremely cringy and bad, looking back on it. And although not all the episodes are funny, especially the early ones, you will find some absolute bangers, such as Sue. Oh, and the finale is a ton of fun and actually kind of thought-provoking, while still retaining the charm and humor of the regular series. Clay World is something truly special that has been somewhat forgotten about, so check it out. On to the next top, brother.
Let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up and come on, who's with me, huh? Let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up, let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up and die, let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up and die.
Let It Die. It's a very fun game, and it kept me busy for quite a while when I didn't really have anything to watch or play, which was, I think, like a week or two, which is pretty impressive for a free-to-play game. That's because the game is actually a lot of fun, and although I am now kind of bored of it and have moved on to Sonic Mania, as it is a free for PS Plus members game at the moment, I would still recommend you try it for yourself. But there are some caveats, and if you don't like any of what I am about to talk about, you probably will not like this game. Basically, this game is pretty grindy, and it is basically pay to win, because you can pay for special currency to get a bunch of nice high-level items early. The thing about this game is that I would give it the tagline of pay to win done right, though. The reason I say this is just because of the high quality this game brings to the table. There are so many fun little things about the gameplay that if you decide to participate in the grind instead of paying for stuff, like I did, you'll still probably be occupied for a while. I highly enjoyed my time with the game, and I didn't pay a single penny. I like how a couple days into playing the game, I'm still finding out about features I never even knew about. Like one of my favorites, where you can sneak up on an enemy, and then when you're behind them, you can do a stealth takedown. This is something that really elevates the game, is the combat. Basically, the combat is extremely satisfying, especially when you daze an enemy. And then you can run up to them and do a special finisher, where literally every weapon in the game has a different finisher. Like, that is dedication right there. I think one of my personal favorite executions is when you have a revolver and you point the gun up close at them and they get all scared. Then you start putting your hands down, acting as if you're like, we cool, we cool. And then you're just like, nah, I'm just freaking with you, you freaking idiot. You just stop crawling.
Rattle me bone!
Basically, this game is very fun and satisfying to play, and the grind is kind of worth it, even if it eventually did wear me down. Oh yeah, and if you like hard games, like punishingly difficult games, then you'll definitely really like this game. Next, Tots. Man, that guy's rude. He stole my line, dude. That was my line, bruh. I like this right here. Oh yeah, that hairline, baby. Anyways, next Tot. That's a spicy Tot, boy. I have seen many people online basically talking about how Rage 2 completely betrays Rage 1's, atmosphere and, all that stuff. And basically a lot of people online are disowning Rage 2. These are some good Tots. I'm gonna have another. This might be cheating, but you know what? That's a good motherfucking Tot, boy. And I can honestly 100% see where these people are coming from. If you have seen my Evil Within 1 versus Evil Within 2 video, then you would know that I think the second severely lacked many things from the first that made that game Evil Within. Therefore making the second kind of feel like it has an identity crisis. While I don't really like the first Rage, I 100% agree that Rage 2 completely betrays everything that the first game did. The first was more like an atmospheric, dark, and gritty post-apocalyptic shooter. The second is Far Cry New Dawn. I'm not joking. They both have the main color as purple, and they're going for a more colorful apocalypse. I guess Bethesda just ran out of the ideas and they decided, guys, let's copy Ubisoft. That's a great idea. They're really good with their fans right now, dude. They're in with the in crowd, They saw that the first didn't do all that well and decided to completely change the game series from the ground up, which is exactly what happened with Evil Within as well. In fact, that's kind of a scary trend in Bethesda's game lineup. If the game doesn't do well, they drastically change the game for the sequel, betraying the artistic vision of the first game. That makes me wonder if they will start doing that with their own in-house games as well. Like Fallout 76 did awful, maybe in the next mainline Fallout game, you'll be fighting against the Brotherhood of Steel because they want to slaughter a bunch of unicorns. Let's be honest, that would be better than anything in Fallout 76. The point is that a storyline like that would betray the story and atmosphere in the Fallout mainline games. Anyways, we went into a tangent. Basically, I agree. Rage 1 betray Rage 2. It bad. It no good. Final talk. Got some good. I don't even know who shot me. That gun just kind of came out of nowhere. Go it, boys. Lol. Shenmue 3 is an Epic Games exclusive! Yay! 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 No one, YSNet, Shenmue 3 is an Epic Games exclusive! I didn't notice this when I was watching the E3 press conference for the PC gaming show, but basically, they announced that Shenmue 3 would be an Epic exclusive. This wouldn't be that bad if it weren't for the fact that the only reason this game is even happening is because the fans of the series backed it on Kickstarter. On top of that, they apparently said in the past that it would be available on all platforms, and yet now they are saying it will not be available on Steam, which made many people pissed because they were promised Steam codes when it would come out, and now they won't be able to get it on Steam. But wait, there's more! The first 2 games are actually on Steam, so it doesn't even make sense to have 2 games on one service and then the third on another. It gets even better though, as people actually asked to be refunded their money because they were blatantly lied to and won it on Steam, and their response was that they wouldn't be able to hand out refunds. Great job you are doing over there, boys. You really know how to keep your fans happy. That's like a triple negative right there. Say what you want about whether you think Psychonauts 2 will be good or not, but at least it will be on all platforms. If you can't tell, although I could care less about Shenmue 3, I think what they are doing is really, really scummy. I already think it should be on all platforms when you are being crowdfunded, because the game is only happening by the hand of the people, so they should get to decide where they can get their game, but they made it even worse by already promising that it would be on all platforms. Basically, YSNet, bad, Double Fine good. So, how is my first episode of Tots? Probably dog shit. You'll tell me all about it in the comments below. And why do I say you'll tell me? Well, because I am brainwashing you right now to upvote this video so it gets into trending. You just got. And of course, don't forget to eat your veggies, like moi, so you can be breathtaking, like moi.
All right. So, I gotta finish this, so tell me. Do you guys want to know when the release date? Yeah. All right.